Assalamu alaikum. This is me, your host Ashar Ahmed, with your favorite and the most awaited program from the campus, from the studios of FM 93 Radio Pakistan, Karachi. How are you, fellows? How are you spending your life, your studies, your activities? I hope you are doing good and must be in a good state of health. But you must be having a hard time dealing with the scorching sun and must be recalling the chilly wintry weather. Well, as a friendly advice, I would like to share some precautions with you in order to cope with the hot weather. Firstly, do not go outside in hot days if not necessary. Drink plenty of fluids, especially carry a bottle of water always with you. Wear hats, sunglasses and loose-fitting, especially cotton clothes. Stay indoors as much as possible. If you should, try not to go out between 11 am to 4 pm. Make sure your meals are well balanced and light. Avoid the oily and fried foods. Fruits, vegetables, salads and yogurt are the foods especially suggested by the health specialists. Lastly and more importantly, take shower frequently. Do face wash and try to keep yourself fresh. Of course, these tips are not going to cool the hot days, however, will help you to manage with them. Dear friends, now let's talk about the importance of water and your health. Have you ever heard someone saying that I'm dying of thirst? Well, you just might. It sounds so simple. H2O, 2 parts hydrogen and 1 part oxygen. This substance, also known as water, is one of the most essential elements to health and is so important that your body actually has a specific drought management system in place to prevent dehydration and ensure your survival. Water might be everywhere, but one must never take it for granted. Water makes up more than 2/3 of human body weight, and without water, we would die in a few days. The human brain is made up of 95% of water, blood is 82%, and lungs 90%. A mere 2% drop in our body's water supply can trigger signs of dehydration, fuzzy short-term memory, trouble with basic math, and difficulty focusing on smaller print, such as a computer screen. Do you find yourself in trouble reading anything? Please drink up the purified water. Mild dehydration is also one of the most common causes of daytime fatigue. Water is important to the mechanics of the human body. The body cannot work without it, just as a car cannot run without gas and oil. In fact, all the cell and organ functions that make up our entire anatomy and physiology depend on water for their functioning. Water serves as a lubricant in digestion and almost all other body processes. The water in our saliva helps facilitate chewing and swallowing, ensuring that food will slide easily down the esophagus. Water also lubricates our joints and cartilages and allows them to move more fluidly. When dehydrated, the body rations water away from the joints. Less lubrication equals greater friction, and that can cause joint, knee and back pain, potentially leading to injuries and arthritis. Even our eyeballs need plenty of lubrication to work well and remain healthy. Water regulates body temperature. Our bodies can control overheating through perspiration from sweat glands in the skin and from evaporation, which produces a cooling effect. Blood is also routed into areas close to the surface of the skin where it can be cooled and then carried back to the interior of the body. Conversing in a cold environment, the skin maintains proper body temperature by shunting the blood away from the exterior surface, thereby conserving heat within the body. The movement of water within our cellular systems also transports vital blood plasma, which is 92% made of water. Blood plasma play a critical role in buffering the body's pH, circulating antibodies from the immune system, and regulating osmotic balance, which all helps to maintain proper body temperature. Water removes harmful toxins from the body. Water helps our bodies remove toxins in many different ways. Water flushes toxins and waste from the body through urination and perspiration. Water helps reduce constipation and aids in bowel movements, which ensures that wastes are removed quickly and regularly before they can become poisonous in the body. This waste buildup can occur in the body if dehydration becomes a regular occurrence, and this can cause headaches, toxicity, and illness. Drinking enough water will also lessen the burden on the kidneys and liver by flushing out waste products. Water transports valuable nutrients to the body. Blood is about 92% water, and it carries nutrients and oxygen throughout the body. Nutrients from the food we eat are broken down in the digestive system, where they become water soluble, which means they are dissolved in water. Water allows these nutrients to pass through the capillaries within the intestinal walls to the blood and circulatory system, where the valuable nutrients and oxygen can be distributed throughout the body to all the cells and organs. In addition to the daily maintenance of our bodies, water also plays a key role in the prevention of disease. Drinking 8 glasses of water daily can decrease the risk of colon cancer by 45%, bladder cancer by 50%, and it can potentially even reduce the risk of breast cancer. And those are just a few examples. So finally, what we learn from all this information, and what about drinking to your health? Yes, since water is such an important component to our physiology, it would make sense that the quality of the water should be just as important as the quantity. Therefore, your drinking water should always be clean and free of contaminants to ensure proper health and wellness. Remember, it is also never too late to improve your health with the help of regular exercise, balanced nutrition, and a positive outlook on life. The human body is very resilient, and if you treat yourself well, you will be surprised by your body's own natural ability to heal itself. Here is drinking to your health and achieving your goals. I know you can do it. So drink plenty of fluids, especially water, and live life to the fullest. Dear friends, now let's move on to our regular segment, Shining Stars.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the segment Shining Stars with me, Faiza Nori. Well, who is a shining star? We are not discussing the stars who are up above in the sky and out of reach, but we are discussing the shining star, women of Pakistan. Women who have proved themselves against all odds. They are the ones who never said never. They kept fighting for what is their passion and showed that they aren't a liability for the society. If given the correct set of exposure, they could fulfill any task and are fully capable of bringing pride to our country. As Charlotte Bronte once said, "I am no bird and no net ensnares me. I am a free human being with an independent will." That what describes Maria Tupakai Wazir completely. She is a professional squash player born on November 22, 1990 in South Waziristan. She is currently ranked as Pakistan's top female squash player and is ranked 48th in the world out of top 50 players. Maria turned into a professional player in 2006 and in 2009 came third in World Junior Women's Championship. To honor this young achiever, she was given Salam Pakistan Award. She is a well-known personality now, but to reach at this point she has worked hard. It was her determination that had brought her this fame. She comes from a place which is considered to be repressive, fundamentalist and some sort of conservative. So how did she achieve all this is a very interesting story. South Waziristan is Maria's home, where women playing sports is not accepted easily. It is a concept which is still a taboo. But credit goes to Maria's Wazir father, Mr. Shamsul Qayyum Wazir, since he was the one who supported and helped Maria to fulfill her dreams. Disguised as a boy, Maria grew up differently from other girls. Though her father was a tribal descendant, he was educated enough to know that a girl has every right to get education and pursue her dream as much as a boy. He never discriminated among his sons and daughters. Maria was never bounded. She was a free child, and unlike her sister Aisha Golalai, who is a member of National Assembly representing a political party on reserved seat for women, Maria was never interested in staying inside her house. She was an explorer, a free spirit. A very interesting incident of her childhood is that one day when her family was out, she chopped off her hair, burnt all of her girly dresses. Her father laughed when he saw her and quoted that she is the fifth son of her family, and he called her Changes Khan. Maria used to hang out with her brother and friends playing and scuffling. When they moved to Fata, she used to ride a bicycle, and only a handful of people around her knew that this Changes Khan who's riding a bike is actually a girl named Maria. But her father never cared about what others thought or said. When they moved to Peshawar, Maria was continuously brawling with boys, so her father thought why not to channel her energy into something more positive and constructive. He chose the option of weightlifting. But Shams was a tad bit shy to tell that Maria is a girl, so he enrolled her with her boyish name Changes Khan. After 2 months of enrolling, Maria participated in the boys weightlifting championship in Lahore, and she, as Changes Khan, won from the boys in her category. Not too long after, she discovered the squash courts nearby and told her father that this was the sport she wants to play. Maria, along with her father, went to PAF Squash Academy. There they had to produce a birth certificate, and the director was extremely happy that a girl is interested in playing this sport. For about 2 months, no one in the academy except the director knew that Maria is a girl. But as people got to know that Maria was disguised as a boy earlier, instead of appreciating her passion for the game, she was bullied on regular basis. But Maria did not back down. She kept on practicing. She would fill her water bottle, lock herself inside the court, and hit the ball against the wall alone for up to 10 hours a day. When she was leaving for tournament, her father asked her to wear a freakishly large earring. He told her that you are unique from others. You have qualities others don't possess, so don't allow anyone's thoughts or words affect you. As it is wisely said, an eagle knows his boundaries and true abilities to touch and limit the skies and fly the highest, but it's human who describe him to the limits of his sight. From 12 to 16, Maria spent every waking minute in the court practicing, inventing her own moves and shots. She won the bronze medal in World Junior Championship when she was 16. She was ranked 3rd in the world in the under-19 category and entered the top 80 in the world senior ranking. Her victories finally brought her to the limelight, but with this honor also came the horrible threats, and to protect her family, Maria went into hiding. She stayed that way for 3.5 years, but her passion for the game wasn't affected. She played in her room and in an unused court in the Peshawar Education Board. She realized in order to keep herself and family safe and to keep playing, she has to seek an asylum somewhere else, where she will be taught to excel as a squash player. So she started emailing to squash clubs, academies and school. The wait was unbearable, but then the email came. Jonathan Power, world champion of squash, was inviting her to come to train in Canada. Jonathan Power is the first North American who reached the world #1 ranking in 1999. He's a rock star, a legend. Maria has been training with Jonathan Power for over a year now. In her first tournament, she won against some of the #1 ranked girls in the world. Their goal is to make Maria a world champion against all odds. Her father is happy and proud that Maria is again playing squash. If she becomes a champion, it will be an example for everyone. If given the right opportunities, there could be 1,000 Marias in our society. As it is said, the society with rackets, pens, and books will eventually find its strength and will gradually learn to solve its conflicts with words instead of bullets. Well, that's food for thought. And with this, it is all from the segments Shining Stars. Thank you very much and Allah Hafiz.
You listened to the segment Shining Stars. I hope you would have liked it. Now let's make the most of our time and let's listen to the segment Across the Globe.
Across the Globe with me, Mariam Siddiqui, and I have some really exciting sports news for you all. Soccer great Zinedine Zidane's childhood home in Marseille demolished. Zidane building in the Castellan neighborhood of northern Marseille was demolished as part of an urban renewal project. 7up, Rosberg aims for a famous 5 at Spanish GP. Nico Rosberg has won 7 races in a row, including the last 3 of 2015, and can join fellow German Michael and Britain's Nigel Mansell as the only drivers to start a season with 5 successive victories. Great West Indian commentator Tony Cozier dies at age 75. Cozier, born in July 1940 in Barbados, was regarded as one of the most respected figure in cricket commentary. He has covered almost every series since 1962 involving the West Indies. Federer beats rising German player Zverev at Rome Masters. After withdrawing from last week's Madrid Open with lower back pain, Roger Federer looked sharp from the start against the 44th ranked Alexander Zverev, using his backhand slip drop shot easily very well. Serena Williams opened clay season with a win in Rome. Having missed the Madrid Open last week due to a fever, top-ranked Serena Williams showed no signs of illness as she dominated 51st-ranked Anna-Lena Friedsam in the second round at the Italian Open. Riyad Mahrez voted Leicester City's Player of the Season. Mahrez racked up 17 league goals and 11 assists to help Leicester City win their first ever Premier League title. FIFA 2026 World Cup hosts vote in 2020 with new bid rules. FIFA is yet to settle on the format for the 2026 World Cup or which countries will be eligible to be the host. West Ham farewell marred by attack on Manchester United bus. The carnival atmosphere was replaced by shameful scenes as some West Ham fans spotted United's coach on Green Street outside the ground and threw missiles, including a smoker canister, at the vehicle. FIFA warns Nepal Football Association to get house in order. The world government body has asked Nepal's Football Association to reinstate suspended executives and call an immediate congress. Leicester set to offer Claudio Ranieri long-term contract. Claudio Ranieri took over from the Nigel Pearson on a 3-year contract in July, and Leicester all keen to offer him improved terms and tie him down to a long-term deal in the wake of his spectacular achievement. Mickey Arthur geared up for Pakistan Challenge. Arthur, who is slated to join the Pakistan team later this month, is confident of transforming the side into a winning unit indeed. England's women captain Charlotte Edwards retires. Charlotte Edwards, in a 20-year career, led England to glory in the Ashes, World Cup and ICC World T20. Australia toughened helmet standards 18 months after Philip Hughes' death. Hughes' death shocked the cricketing world and ignited a debate about safety standards, particularly for batsmen who face fast bowling that can exceed over 150 km per hour. Tennis Australia chief slams disrespectful Tomic in Rio Row. Nick Kyrgios and Bernard Tomic are Australia's top-ranked men's players, but were both warned last weekend by Australia's chef de mission for the Games, Kitty Chiller, that they were among a group of athletes whose behavior were being monitored. Shashank Manohar reveals why he resigned as BCCI president. Shashank Manohar resigned as BCCI president and ICC chairman, leaving many to wonder why he took such a drastic step. Cahill left out of Australia's squad for England friendly. Tim Cahill, along with Matthew, Trent Sainsbury, Ryan McGowan and Apostolos Gino, were not selected for Australia's friendly against England on May 27th because it falls outside the international window. NFL sets the date for Super Bowl 52 in Minneapolis. The city's first Super Bowl since 1992 will be held on February 4, 2018. Mark Selby beats Ding Junhai 18-14 to win second World Snooker Championship title. When you look at the people who have won it twice, not many players get to join that elite group, so it is something very special, he said. Shahzad Rafiq says Prestwick Cricket Club are aiming for the top 5. The captain of the Henry Thau Oval Club also wants to win a cup despite kicking off life in the top flight with a narrow defeat. British cycling chief Shane Sutton resigns his role and discrimination claims. Australian quits with only 100 days to go until the Olympic and Paralympic Games in Rio, following being suspended pending in an investigation. Thank you.
Dear friends, that's all from the educational news segment. For more information and updates regarding education, please keep listening to this segment, Educational News, with me, your host, Ashar Ahmed. Dear friends, that's all from our tonight's edition. You'll listen to it and I hope you would have liked it. Program is drawing to an end and I'm going to leave you with the food for thought. Albert Einstein once said, "Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler." Dear friends, keep spreading the smiles, take care of yourself and all other around you. Ashar Ahmed signing off. Allah Hafiz.